What's up, paintballers? Coach Crane here with Play Better Paintball, and I wanted to give you a strength and conditioning coach's perspective on the idea of when you're running, should you keep your gun hand on the outside, or is it okay to have it on the inside because you're right-handed and it just feels better to have the gun in your right hand? There's been this, decades-long idea that it's better to run with it in your outside hand, and I've seen videos in the last few years of Ryan Greenspan coaching it that way, that you should run with your gun hand outside to minimize the chance of a ball landing on something hard and preferably landing on something soft instead, maximizing your bounce chances. But Greg from How to Play Paintball mentioned that Alex Goldman runs with his gun in, which I can't remember if it's left or his right, but he only runs with his gun in one hand because he's dislocated his shoulder so many times. And from a strength and conditioning coach's from a strength and conditioning coach's perspective, our number one goal is actually not to necessarily enhance athletic performance, is actually to minimize injuries. That is the number one goal of a strength and conditioning coach. So with that in mind, it makes total sense that if it's going to keep you from getting injured, run with the gun in the hand that is best suited for you. Someone commented on one of my videos that they don't want to take a tank to the chest, bust a rib, so they're going to keep their gun hand in the arm that's most comfortable, and I think that is a great idea. So that's my perspective as a strength and conditioning coach, is to minimize injuries first. But I actually want to also say that mechanically speaking, it's actually better to have the gun on the inside, because if your body is leaning this way, that weight is going to serve as an anchor underneath you. And so I have no data to support this, but I would be interested to see, out of 100 runs where you could control all the variables, which is impossible, but how many more times would someone get out running with their gun hand on the inside instead of the outside? I just can't help but feel like the risk to benefit ratio is just not sufficient enough to coach people on always running with their gun hand on the outside. Simply speaking, from a physics standpoint, you're gonna have more mechanical advantage. You're gonna be a little more stable. You're gonna be able to lean a little bit more, as we're keeping you lower to the ground, by having the gun hand on the inside. So running with it on the outside, technically, I would say you're probably gonna be 1 or 2 milliseconds, maybe even more, slower than if you ran with it on the inside. So that's just me coming from a strength and conditioning coach's perspective on the mechanics and physics of what's happening to your run when you have weight in one arm and not the other, and you're running a curved route. So take that for what you will. Again, I'm not saying one is right or wrong, but it's something to think about. So play better paintball.